Hey guys, today I'm going to be telling you about 3 of my absolute favorite Halloween costumes, and I'm also going to give you a little walkthrough on how I did each one. I love creating costumes and I absolutely love to dress up, but I'm also not a professional at any of this. Not makeup, not cosplaying, just no part of it basically. So ideally all these costumes are pretty simple, they're pretty easy. I've done princess costumes and other kind of generic things, but typically for Halloween I love to do characters, and especially characters from my favorite series or my favorite movies. So the first costume I'm going to show you is from 2013, I believe, and I did Amy Pond. It's a little bit tough to get the look for Amy Pond just because she has multiple different outfits. So for my Amy Pond costume, I took inspiration from a couple of her different outfits that I really liked. She loves color and she usually has something bright on the outfit, so don't be afraid to kind of play around with the colors. I personally bought 3 different pairs of colored tights. I chose this because it sort of looked like one of her outfits, but also because I felt like it would make up for what I was lacking in not completely matching her outfit. And I wore this with my black jean shorts, which I already had. She actually does wear a pair kind of similar to this in one of her outfits, and it also just kind of fits the vibe of her. She wears a lot of skirts and tights and shorts and tights. With those, I wore a red sweater, which I don't have now because I got a hole in it, which actually made me really sad because I loved that sweater. She does wear red a lot, and I sort of pulled this from one of her outfits where she wore a bright red sweater, and then one of her other ones she had kind of like a burgundy darker red. And it was kind of cold that year, so I wore the red sweater, and then on top of that when I went out I wore a black jacket, which kind of matched the black jacket that she wears. And if you want to go the extra mile and add just a tiny really cool detail, you can wear a little A necklace. I have this one that I wore, and I'm actually lucky because my name obviously starts with A, so I had a couple of these. Obviously it's not super noticeable and you don't have to go that extra mile if you don't want to or if it's not convenient, but I did really think it kind of pulled the outfit together. As far as makeup, I kind of did what I normally do on a daily basis. She doesn't really wear that much makeup, so I wouldn't cake it on by any stretch of the imagination. She usually has some pretty natural looks, so a lot of browns and maybe some greens would work, a very thin line of eyeliner but nothing too crazy. As far as hair, I dye mine red, so I was kind of set on that one, but if you don't, depending on how committed you want to get to the role, you can either use some sort of temporary dye or even just dye your hair red. It's totally at your discretion how far you want to go with this character, but she does kind of need the red hair. It's not really Amy without it. Her hair is curly, but it's kind of a natural wavy curl, so I used my hair straightener to get just kind of the perfect amount of curly. And I almost forgot about the shoes. I wore just some kind of standard black boots that went almost up to my knee. The ideal Amy Pond would probably have those cute little short brown boots that she wore. That's kind of iconic Amy, and it just looks so perfect. So if you have something like that, or if you want to buy something like that, that would be ideal. For me, I didn't have the opportunity to buy something, didn't have time, didn't have money, all those other things. So again, these are super easy tutorials. I just wore whatever I had that kind of matched the best. Really, I think any medium to tall brown or black boot would look really good with this costume and still feel very much in the style of Amy. So that's basically everything I did to create my Amy Pond costume. The second costume is for Bellatrix Lestrange. I think this might have been 2012, possibly 2011 when I did this costume. To do a Bellatrix costume, there's kind of 2 different ways. There's the really, really good way that takes a lot of time and a lot of skill and probably a lot of money. And then there's kind of a Baroque version of Bellatrix that I think actually turned out pretty cool because that's the one I obviously chose. So basically I just looked at a ton of pictures of Bellatrix and then I sort of worked out a way I could capture that look without all of the money and the time and the skill. To start with, I went out and looked for either a long black dress or a black skirt and a black top that I could put together. I ended up going with a skirt because what I needed to do with it was to cut the entire hem of it and to kind of make it look really disgusting, so I didn't want to spend a ton of money on a really nice skirt or a dress. Basically, you want to look kind of rough because Bellatrix is not really having a great time. She's not really that prim and proper. So I bought a skirt and I destroyed it, basically. I paired the skirt with a 3/4 sleeve black top, and the reason I didn't go with a long sleeve was because I needed to do the dark mark, which I will come back to in just a second. For shoes, I wore just some black leathery boots. They're actually the same ones I wore for my Amy Pond costume, but in a totally different context. The corset was a bit more of a challenge. I wasn't really sure how to do this without actually going out and buying a corset, so after talking to my sister, what we decided to come up with was a duct-taped corset. This sounds ridiculous, but actually it looked kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. So basically we just took layers of duct tape and put them together. I still have the corset here, I'm kind of looking at it, but it's fallen gloriously to pieces in the several years that I've had it like folded up in the closet. But anyway, if you just take duct tape and put together just a few layers of it, not super thick, but where it doesn't bend too much. I made it to fit my waist, and then my sister and I cut little holes in it and put a black shoestring through it, and voila, your broke Bellatrix corset. For the wand, I would love to own an actual Bellatrix wand, but again, no time, no money, so I did not do that for this costume. I did have a brown wand from a past Hermione costume, so what I did was just spray painted it black. Literally, just just that. I'm a diehard Harry Potter fan. I know it's not really authentic, but again, this is broke Bellatrix with no time, no money. It's also pretty easy to find kind of gothic, gaudy looking jewelry. So I found this black necklace and I put that on with it. For the hair, if you don't have black hair, I do recommend you do something with it to darken it. If you have a dark brown, it might work. So basically, I just pulled my hair up, teased the crap out of it, made it look as gross and disgusting as possible, sprayed it black. Voila, Bellatrix hair. And for the makeup, I put a lot of blacks around my eyes. I also added some kind of reds you can see kind of in the crease and under my eyes just to make myself look as haggard and evil as possible. Just channel super unhealthy and unhinged. And my nails are pretty short, so I also bought some long fake nails and I painted them red. So I had these really kind of gross, long, witchy red nails. The last touch, which I promised we would come back to, is the dark mark on her arm. For this, I am extremely lucky to have a little sister who is really good with drawing and things like that. So she looked at a picture of the dark mark and just took my eyeliner, basically my black eyeliner, and drew the dark mark on my arm. Obviously, if you're doing this by yourself, that might be kind of hard to do with the right angle if you don't have a crafty friend, but it is so key, I think, to kind of just nailing this look together and really channeling Bellatrix, because the dark mark is an extremely important part. So there you have it. There is my Bellatrix Lestrange look. The third and final costume that I'm going to talk about is from last year, and that's Black Widow. Again, you can do a really cool Black Widow if you want to go all out, but me personally, no time, no money. We've gone over this several times. You kind of get the gist. So basically what I started with was just a long black bodysuit. It was a bit challenging to find. I couldn't find it anywhere in an actual physical store, but I just went to Amazon and found just this kind of cat suit, I think it was called. It's a little bit leathery looking, it's a bit shiny, it's got long sleeves and long pants legs. It's very unforgiving, I will say that, and really this is an extremely important part of the costume. Without this, if I just wore like black leggings and a black shirt, it just wouldn't have come together, I think, quite the same. So even though it wasn't quite as cool as her suit, obviously, it looked pretty cool. With that, I ended up wearing the exact same boots, actually, that I wore both for Bellatrix and for Amy Pond. You would think I would have bought those just for Halloween costumes, but I bought them just for normal use and they ended up being more useful for Halloween. So now you've got this long black catsuit and these black boots, and with that, you kind of just look like Catwoman or Black Widow or any other sort of character like that. So what you really need to do is find those things that make Black Widow really her and not any other type of character. How I did that was mostly with the belt. So for this, I used already just kind of a black belt that I had. It's actually kind of a dark brown, but you can't exactly tell. And then I recreated her Black Widow logo. This is just with some craft foam. Hopefully it looks a little more durable than it actually is. With just that, you probably are recognizable as Black Widow since people know the logo. But if you want to go another step, you can add some bullet bracelets. For these, I just found some kind of cheap bullet bandolier things, and they were adjustable, so I was able to just break them into 2 different pieces, make them the right size for my wrists, and then I spray painted everything black. So these are the final result of the bullet bracelets, and they've definitely added kind of that don't mess with me vibe. On top of that, I added some little cut-off gloves, and these are not ideal because they actually have some kind of grabby material on the one side. Not ideal. Again, if you can just get some plain black gloves and cut off the tips or something like that, it would probably look so much better. For the makeup, I didn't go too overkill because she doesn't wear anything too super flashy, but I did add some browns and some natural colors to really make my eyes pop, and of course, some black mascara and some black eyeliner. My hair was already red, so that was good to go, and I just curled it. I think for this one, I just kind of slept on some curlers, but it turned out a little bit, maybe a little bit too curly. But I still think that was better than a natural curl because you can absolutely tell that Natasha's had her hair done. Those are not beach waves. And there you have it. Just add a little bit of attitude and you have Black Widow. I hope you guys have all enjoyed my 3 Halloween costume tutorials. Let me know in the comments which one of these 3 was your favorite. Also, I would love to see your Halloween costumes this year, so don't forget, tweet me a picture or tag me in your Instagram post if you post a picture of you in your Halloween costume. I would love to see it. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you soon. And look at that, I actually managed to keep this red lipstick off my teeth. I'm so proud of myself.